Writers Place, and thank you for coming. If this is your first time to the Writers Place, we hope it isn't your last. The Writers Place supports a number of readings, workshops, writing groups, special events, and a whole lot of other things throughout the year. You can check us out on our website to look at our calendar, and we have a lot of programs coming up starting in August. We close the last 2 weeks of July, but in August then we'll be having readings again, and we hope that you'll want to come back for another. All of the readings are sponsored by volunteers. They donate hours of their time, all of the food, help set up the reception, take statistics, and clean up at the end. Readings with receptions would not be possible without them. We thank all of them for their gifts and time. Tonight's sponsors, in addition to myself, are Teresa Lagarde, Pat Lawson, Lisa Stewart, and who else? Who?
Susan Green.
Susan Green. Thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot her last name. So thank you to our sponsors for tonight. The Writers Place is a nonprofit organization that relies on your contributions to keep the doors open. The house is expensive to maintain, as you might guess, built in 1910. So any donations help to keep the water running and the utilities on. And the Writers Place thanks you for all of you who have made contributions to the door. And for those that you have not, you are certainly, it is not too late to do so. Any checks are tax deductible. Also, you may notice that we have a few pieces up on the walls, some artwork. We are in between major exhibits, but Susan made it possible for us to have Leilani Law bring a few of her works tonight. She is a Fayetteville-based visual artist, and there are cards on the table if you have any interest in her work. I am very happy tonight to be able to introduce Susan Whitmore, an amazing poet, an amazing grant writer, fundraiser, and my friend. I have known Susan since she first came to the Writers Place as executive director when her daughter Greer, I think, was only 3 or 4. Since then, I've known her in so many other ways. As a fellow committee member, fellow Writers Place board member, fellow writing contest judge, and as part of Write Club, a writing group that Susan started. I've read and heard Susan's poetry for nearly 20 years, and she never ceases to amaze me with the beauty and craft of her writing, even in its early stages. And I get to see some of those first drafts. Her poems are the kind that linger. Tonight, you will get that opportunity to hear for yourself. Susan is an East Coast transplant to the Midwest. Her books include The Sacrifice, Mellon Poetry Press, 1990, The Invisible Woman, Singular Speech Press, 1991, and The Melinda Poems, Pudding House Press, 2004. With a degree in Ancient Greek from Vassar and a Master of Fine Arts from Emerson, she taught creative writing and literature at the University of Nebraska and the University of Missouri, Kansas City for 10 years, and was executive director of the Writers Place for 5 years. Since 2010, she has been a vice president at First Call, an agency serving individuals and families suffering from and impacted by substance use disorders. Her work has appeared in Cross Currents, Dallouise Review, Georgia Review, Georgetown Review, I-70 Review, Melusine, New Letters, The Same, Poet Lore, and many more. Musician Rick Gibbons will be accompanying Susan tonight. He has recently returned to music after a 30-year hiatus as a martial arts instructor. And I quote, "The long absence from public performance was the result of having to play Proud Mary and Bad Leroy Brown more than once a night, 6 nights a week after week, until those around him intervened and forced him into a necessary martial art recovery process that lasted for 3 decades. Finally, with the new skills that would enable him to instantly kill anyone foolish enough to request any of the aforementioned songs, he has found a small niche in the Colorado music scene. He can be heard on KC pianist Howard O'Neill's release, Charlie's Suite, released by PME Records in 2006. In addition to a great evening of entertainment, tonight we celebrate the publication of Susan's newest book, Your House is Floating. Copies are for sale after the reading, and Susan, I'm sure, will be happy to sign them. Please welcome Susan Whitmore and Rick Gibbons.
Hi, everybody. I am just really honored to be here, and so grateful that you're all here. It means the world to me, and this is just a delightful celebration for so many reasons. And I'm also honored to be sharing the event with Rick Gibbons, who is my karate teacher also. So I know him as Mr. Gibbons, and and I have been in martial arts recovery process for 15 years. So it's really nice to be here with him and sharing this. And it's also a little bit different because I haven't ever done a reading before where we've kind of added music and where I'm reading poems with music. So this has been a kind of interesting process for me, and I'm really excited about it, and mostly glad that you'll be able to hear Rick play. So the way, just so you know, I'm going to read a group of poems, just me reading, and then we're going to segue into a group of poems with music. And I think probably the way, especially the music parts, I hate to tell people what to do, but actually I really like telling people what to do. You know that? But I think between the poems, with the music, probably no applause, just because it would interrupt the flow. And not that we've like rehearsed it to a T or anything, but and you know, outside of that, when Rick's not playing, you can do whatever you want. How about that? So anyway, without further ado, this is the book, and you know, it does strike. I'll just say one thing about it. I'm very grateful to the editor, Markiah Friedman, and Liquid Light Press. It does feel to me one of the most honest collections of work that I've ever put together. So for that reason, I'm really glad that it sees the light of day. So, to begin. Cathedral. My room is sunny and clean. A table, a chair, work I say I'm doing. Fresh air through the window, tea on the stove, my body sheathed in its fine envelope, the whole package as white as the tablecloth. You come, thinking this is my home. So beautiful you ache when you must go. What else would you think? This is what I show you. But the cathedral's stone walls sweat on the inside, moldy with supplication and the fierce stare of gargoyles. The high dark ceilings I cannot fathom. My body is nothing in there, a piece of heat fallen from the candle, black wax frozen into a splatter. The Virgin goes on with her entreaties. Give it up, my sweet. Throw the doors wide. Tent. At midnight, I put my Circe on your Fiona. The kerosene lantern burned an orange orb on the green skin of the sweating tent, where we lay in cotton sleeping bags in the days before down and polyfiber. The air outside was thick with fireflies and dumb June bugs that whirred in our swimming pool stained hair, gleaming stiff and shiny, chlorine tangle. My belly was heavy and jittery with possibility. Blood yet to come and red wine not yet drunk in the la 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 land of adult love. We were both awake and not blinking, our index ring and pinky fingers twined and thigh to thigh, taut as high wire gymnasts in a sparkling rage of crimson fire sequins as we stepped out carefully on the girl line. Forsythia. At 13, the black boot, square-toed boy came calling, riding his moped 14 miles for my French kiss in a glen below my parents' home, green with lilies about to burst into bloom. The wood's cool dark kept pace with light dappling through poplar ceiling, new spring leaves, muddy ground, and my fingers on his trembling. I'm still surprised by any wet, luscious thing, the flavor of dew, sweet spit on a tongue pointed firmly toward the body's craving. The dance of skin, hand in hand with nature, began here. First, in waiting for the sound of the motor on the street, my ears keening. Then the short walk through brush and New Forsythia, down a damp bank to the shaded bedroom of flowers yet to be, for 15 kisses, exactly. Ice. Black ice and the brakes don't matter. The heater never did start heating, and it's cold, baby, cold in the car. I thought I knew where I was going, only now it won't stop. I did it after all, even though I thought I would not and was driving straight. I spoke my crush on you. The skid is on. Fluid. This is juicy. Despite despair, the muscular heart goes on beating. A ventricle bit of meat betting on its bid with the celestials, who said, sing, sing until you can't. The aorta sends music downward and upward and sideways into the larger body, that the limbs might break into rhythm and harmony, sinews and tendons stretched across the corporal lyre, the body's instrument, now lively and thrumming with joy. What course does blood have but hope? Love threads its way into every sweet organ, the fantastic lungs, stable stomach, melancholy bowels, and the bright brain, the electric spine, now informing the whole skeleton's elegant bones. Ice cream. Valentine's Day. You, sweet milk gone, good sugar, our lips meet, soft snap, stop, dollop, oh, don't do that, chocolate, thing, vanilla, cherry, Pringle, my principal place is tingling, Jimmy's on mine, yours, hot sauce, I want all of it, cream and curd and your thighs, may I please? First you said no, I said no, nuts, cookie dough is so passé, let's go, yes, with yogurt, swirl, low fat, so fine, I'm right here, honey, waiting for mine. Sunset. On Highway 435 into Kansas, my hands are careful on the wheel. The muscles of my heart vigilant around the veins they squeeze. 4 chambers of beat, and a whole body to keep going. I'm thinking earth and country people, more intact and at ease than me. The gentle cheeks, acceptance of wind, mind no obstacle to time or how much time it takes to travel 10 miles going 70. Early evening and light is late. I imagine heavy cows moaning now for milking, beady-eyed crows settling in the poplars, nutty oats poured before horses, the creak of iron, stable doors bolted against the cold. The man who proffers oats feels horse body come to rest, heat rising with each breath, warmth inside wooden walls. The woman who wed the man rests her brow against the carpet of a cow's hide, her palms and fingers easing steaming milk into a bucket. And I am among the crazies, going as fast as we can without dying or getting a ticket. Still, I have my own boon. The magenta sunset spreads a florid skirt against sky, revealing her secret. A blood-red opening and fuchsia thighs she dares me kiss. The Snowman. This is after the poet Tim Siebels, who is an amazing writer, if you haven't read him. Avalanche of avant-garde in my bedroom. Peony scent, unseasonably tepid rain, traffic splash on the street, water running in gutters. It's February, an impossible time for peonies. Or these ripe lemons now, in on electric air through the window. All the household plants and me pricking up our skin. A snowman lover drops bits of himself under my embrace. The smooth white face fades. Stick arms drop off. Black belt and bowler hat talismans float on a pool of water. The puddle that was lover extinguishes me on the scent of lemons and peonies, thunder's thick sound, and the rain, a strident torrent demanding earth's suck. The snowman has no constitution, and I am a knot of bones rising to the surface where water meets air. Secure and bright, the stars look down and laugh. Filigree glitter on water, a mosaic of glee. Consummation complete. No matter, no one lives to tell the tale. Who needs a mouth or tongue when the whole body has become kiss, the whole body dissolved into wonder? To another need. As the furniture trembled and the hallways narrowed, the electric wires behind drywall tangling like hair and humming betrayal, everything changes. It's the memory of how I loved him, and how I love him still, only more finely now I don't need him. What rises above the dreck of the broken home? The cracked crystal, a thermometer's mercury running loose in the sink and freed of fever, an asbestos cloud released after years from its wallpaper layers, a door swung wide upon evermore. The real promise shines now in sunlight between the strands of our child's hair. How gentle the white scalp, the sweet skull just beneath. Eurydice. Your white hand, Eurydice, rises from the bath until water slides down to reveal the fine lines of your fingers and a pristine pool in your palm. Just so, you wish your beloved reaching through cumulus billowing above the earth roof of the house, sweeping clouds away to bear one spot of surprising blue. Drop the sun down to embrace and lift, carry you up and through. Some lovers cry before the other is gone. Your union was replete with grief, even while you lived and rolled in moonlit flowers with him. Lilac and hyacinth honey, nectar beneath your back. You recall tears falling hot as daylight on your brow at night after his long leaning over you was over. your breath slowed into sobs, the arc of a love song. Now your days are unending hours in the bath, mouth shut tight and head submerged, hair swirling like seaweed in the swift current of the underworld. The tower. Surely anger has its own love and bedfellow. Why else would you climb the winding stair again and again, exhausting yourself completely, as when you would stay awake for days, soiling the sheets with a new desire? Rage has its way. Ringlets fall in perfect circles from your head, porcelain and austere as Isolde. You wait in the tower of your own construct, as certain and nebulous as the idea of God. On high, the view is fine. You can see an enemy approaching miles ahead of time. But your ringlets grow into tangles and no hand reaches you there. Isolation, your sex. Solitude, your food. Tonight, love shares itself with hate. You exist next to yourself, cannot rise above the fact of your own back turned to your touch in bed. The sheets cold and angry with sweat and fear, the need to push despondency out. You are the exploding girl who splits herself widely into nothing. Intimacy is a wind that blows or doesn't. There's nobody to hold on to, though you lay hands constantly on yourself. Sinew, tendon, skin, thinking this vessel holds everything, seeing this self as a key. But you are not a key, and the locks remain fast against you. Sex is not an answer. Lie down and sleep when you can. When you can't, wake too early and still dark. Watch city lights blinking beyond slits in the shade. You are far off from the city, and the city lights are like knives railing your body. An echo of what? Why can't you touch yourself kindly? I do place blame. I am asking you to change. Constellation. Orion strings his star-studded belt across the sky's hip. Any warrior knows it's unwise to sleep without a weapon nearby. The street is silent, but for one dog, that rake, howling 2 blocks over at Venus in heat, all heaven waiting for his owner to come home. I'm dreaming my husband, how he paced the halls at night the summer I slept pregnant with the prospect we both feared, painting fevered pictures of roads ascending horizon, through fields thick with poppies, tiger lilies pointing their tongues at the 7 sisters clustered against the glow, Big Dipper turned upward and back to catch the glittering afterbirth. All stars shine beyond the burn, long gone out, an echo so real there's no salvation but to believe in the future. The firmament projected back of the eye, a mother and father, a child yet to be. Photograph from Jane Hirschfield. I would like not minding whatever travels my heart. Darling, I know it is not your love which makes me free, or your distance a prison. The still eye at the hurricane center is the only spot inside emotion entirely disconnected and unmoved by anything. Pine planks from the dock, white sails loosened from their rigging, a skipper's hat, feathers from the herring gull. And here we are now in stormy seas. Here I am in the boat that keeps sinking, this boat I keep patching with hope and prayer. One would think despair a good teacher, but no, I only come to love the boat more each time it sinks under the weight of feeling. And no, it's not love, but that sickness, an attachment to too much sugar or salt, One makes me fat, the other too thin. Obesity and emaciation. So no, it's not love, but a boat sickness. Ghosts. After Emily Dickinson, the brain is wider than the sky. Most of them you don't personally know. There was the malevolent ghost who blanketed you with despair when you lay in bed with your first lover, just so you'd hold each other close. Then there was the benevolent one who sang with a choir of children, just as you entered the twilight of sleep the summer you stayed in Spain. And the naked one who raged in your backyard pond, drowning, while the ghost with perfect hair stole your clogs from the front porch the night before the daffodils opened. But every dawn, it's your mother, hovering gray above your dresser and drawing your silver-backed brush through the strands of her auburn hair. Rice. You say you'd climb a mountain, that you've ascended already with walking stick and begging bowl. Calluses thick on your soles, the red burn on your cheeks more flame than you'd imagined. Muscles grown taut as wood in your calves and thighs have made you a new man, a man who doesn't need me. The journey is enough, salt creased into the crevices of your face, knees finally bent low on the stone before an altar of another divinity. Now I'm a brown sparrow alighting on a temple roof, built of wind-blown sticks, fragrant with incense, beak open for one grain of rice from your bowl. Stone. I'm no prophet, but I can tell when blood falls too quickly. I can tell when the entrails are tangled into unnatural knots on the stone. Their pattern spells yearning, that hard gallop toward God in entirely the wrong direction. How can I do this without words? Someone has to mention that the intestines are the wrong color, the liver twice the size it should be, black blood running northward in a rush to the brain instead of gently in the four directions from the heart. I'll admit it, there are times when I want the one I love to lift me like a child from the stone, put the puzzle of my guts together and make me whole. The one I love will love me broken. I will not wake up one day suddenly one piece, having run together like mercury. It's me splayed wide on the gray stone of my life, split from my mouth to my sex. It's for me alone to look inside and listen. There's a singing and a crying both I cannot decipher, a code composed in its own language, of the body, not of words. Paper. 1. Almost origami, a crisp white orchid with a crimson dangling tongue grows out of the moss stump. 2. I filled the bathtub with paper. Bills, yellow Post-it notes that had lost their stick, to-do lists, all my business cards. 3. A thin girl in an emerald dress came to me in a dream and said, "Don't you know, it's time." So, it's time to end the reading. Actually, we have one more poem. I'm going to read the title poem from the book, and Rick's going to play with me. But I just wanted to, again, thank everyone for coming, and thank the Writer's Place, and I have this little list of people I'm supposed to thank here. Oh yeah, and I will, if you want me to sign your book, I'd be happy to do that afterwards. Anyway, wait, here it is. Okay. yeah, I want to thank Mary Frances Wagner and the people who volunteered also in the Writer's Place, but especially Mary Frances for helping tonight and making this happen. Denise Lowe, Robert Stewart, and Jose Faust also are like amazing poets who were willing to read the manuscript when it was going to press and make some comment on my behalf, and I just wanted to say that I'm like really grateful to them. It's an honor. As Mary Frances mentioned, I'm in Write Club, and you know the first rule of Write Club is that you don't talk about Write Club. We owe the name of that group to Kent Gilbert. He's like an ad guy, and he just came up with the best name for that group. It's so true, you know. It's perfect for us. But it's an amazing group, and the people in that group, Liz Gilbert, Ann Slegman, Teresa Godsey, and Joe Short, have all, you know, we share our work and see it at the very beginning, and it's just like, it's an amazing group of people, and they're all so good, and it's provided so much encouragement for me to keep my writing life active, being part of that group. So, and some of the poems in this book, the thing that's cool about this book is that some of the poems started in that group, and some of them date back to like the early 1990s, if you can believe it. So it's a real like arc of something in my life that goes way back to when I was writing and a much younger woman. So anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge those people and thank them, and we will close with one more poem. And thank you again, everyone, for coming. It really means a lot to me. Your house is floating. It's in 3 parts. 1. The strata of body signifies spirit. Skin, flesh, bone, center. Somewhere outside the body is the larger body. Galaxy floating and rooted in gravity's pull, both aerial and earth. You are buried and released here as well as there, in element and space. The universe turns, is transformed. That you were once a child is evident in your face. 2. Mount Rushmore floats on magma. Nebraska's wheat fields float like ponds. Arctic icebergs float too, of course. Your house is floating. Skin floats above the bone on a current of blood and marrow. Grass is filled with liquid sun. Your breath is floating. And that love you lost floats muscular in the sinews ribbon and tendon string, singing what does not float but flies. 3. On Venus, volcanoes leak lava like milk from a mother's breast. The planet is alive and flourishing. And on Earth, embryos float in the womb, turned in salty fluid toward Polaris and the moon. Your feet are planted most often in dirt, your head in air. When sleeping, you are what the fair universe floats on.
Okay, now you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming tonight, and we hope you'll want to buy Susan's book, take it home with you, and I know she'll be happy to sign it. Thank you all.